Okay, we are going to continue our series from Radio Row. Obviously, a lot of great football minds, a lot of interesting football personalities and commentators who were there. And one person that I really wanted to speak with and hear from was Chris Sims. He's played the position, and I was kind of embarrassing him, honestly, at the very start of this video, because I was just explaining how I value his opinion because he's played the position. And so I value what he has to say about Joe Burrow. He's spoken to Joe Burrow. He spent time around Joe Burrow. He has looked at the way that Joe Burrow has grown. And that was my very first question for Sims, was what he thought about the way that Joe Burrow has grown throughout his career. Here's our conversation.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Deep in the Stripes with Elise Jesse.
From 31 yards, McPherson. And Cincinnati is heading to the Super Bowl. They did it. They beat Mahomes at home. Wow, Joe Burrow. No way.
The sickest Cincinnati Bengals podcast. It's gonna be sick.
With Chris Sims. First of all, I've already said this to you. I love your work.
Thank you very much.
You played the quarterback position.
Wow.
So I think all can appreciate
Not that good, but I did.
Stop. He's being modest. I just appreciate your take on the quarterback position, and I like how you notice their growth. You key in on certain things. I would love to know what you think about Joe Burrow's progress in 2024, and if that was his ceiling, can he get even better and have better numbers in 2025, maybe with a better offensive line?
I don't think there's any doubt he can. He's special, right? On TV and shows and just go, hey, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen stand on their own tier right now in the NFL. Yeah. It's those four. They're the best four quarterbacks. And then after that, it's a drop-off. And there's some other good ones, but they are special. And Burrow is really special. And yeah, can he get better? He can. I mean, I think he'd tell you, right? The beginning of the year, I mean, they didn't kill it on offense with the statistics. That's going to be one area they got to figure out. How do we start faster so we don't put ourselves in these tough positions late in the season? And I think that's something not only he will dive into, but organization will. That's one area I look at. Now, physical ability, there's not much I feel like he needs to improve. His arm is way stronger than people realize. His accuracy is insanity in the membranity, right?
Yes.
His quick release, all of that is. And then what I always say about Joe is he's got like a sixth sense. I call him a slippery son of a bitch a lot. Sorry, all right? Sorry about that. All right? Because he moves around the pocket all smooth and stays in throwing position, and I'm amazed by that, let alone his ability to read coverage and see things is second to none in that department.
I feel like in 2024 he took another step. He was stepping up into the pocket. He looked more confident in that area at least. And I just want to know from you, I guess, how frustrating do you think it would be, not that you're speaking for him, but as a quarterback, you're playing your ass off. You're playing really, really well. You have top numbers, and you don't even make it into the playoffs. It'd be ultra frustrating.
Of course. He's probably tortured right now.
Yeah.
And then he's watching Lamar and Josh Allen and Mahomes, and he's probably like, can they all lose? Can they all lose in the playoffs? Is that possible? Right? You know, so he doesn't want to see that, and he shouldn't. He's a competitor, right? I think they're all like that. It's tough, especially the way they played at the end of the year. You knew they could make some waves in the playoffs and maybe upset some people's dreams. I think the other thing, too, is like what you said. When you're playing at that high of a level at the quarterback position, your team feels it, you feel it, you feel like, just get me on a field against I don't care who it is, and we're going to win the football game, right? And they kind of had that magic going. And that's where it stinks, and that's still going to eat at him for another few weeks, really, probably. Actually, yeah, he's going to watch the Super Bowl. He's going to be annoyed by that all next week, no matter who wins. And then he'll start to compartmentalize and move on to next year.
Last question for you. People have, jokingly called him a psychopath because he's just honed in on winning. Like, I haven't seen the guy smile in years because he has not been in the playoffs or winning playoffs.
Like one interview, right? I got one interview. I was in for like 40 minutes. I got him to smile like once or twice, and because I'm crazy and say crazy things, I got him to giggle a few times, right? But he's like the ultimate field general focused, and when he's, I think, in that organization, he is going to portray an image of it's time to get serious, it's time to work, it's time to worry about all the little details, and let's all be better. I've seen Joe outside of football. He's Joe Cool. He's famous. He's a star, right? So he's capable of letting loose and being one of the guys. But I think he's just got that a little bit of that Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, even Patrick Mahomes. When they walk through the doors of the facility, they change into a different human being, and it's like almost an alter ego of a football guy. You know what I mean? Right.
I think you're absolutely right. Chris, thank you so much for your time.
Great conversation. Yeah, again, he was one person that I wanted to hear from just simply because he knows the position really well, played the position, and then has spent a decent amount of time around Joe Burrow and just kind of watching how he works, watching how he approaches the game. And I just wanted to hear that from him. And the slippery SOB comment caught me off guard. I actually loved it. It's funny because, yes, Chris Sims is calling him a slippery SOB. But at the same time, he was sacked 48 times in 2024. So can he get better than throwing for over 4,900 yards? I believe he can. Can he get better than throwing 43 touchdowns to 9 interceptions? I believe he could. I don't believe that he has even come close to reaching his ceiling yet. Obviously, they will look to make improvements to the offensive line in the offseason, according to Duke Tobin and what he was saying in Mobile, Alabama, if you remember the interviews and stuff that he was doing a few weeks ago there. Joe Burrow, man, that whole week at Radio Row, he was there. He was there for one day. And from my understanding, I have not been able to listen to every single interview he did, but from everything I saw on social media, from everything I heard, what people were saying, he essentially spent the entire day answering questions about his teammates and their contracts and keeping them in Cincinnati, their money, things like that. And to me, and I've said this in other places, when the Bengals failed to get the Jamar Chase deal done before training camp happened last year in 2024, and the Cincinnati Bengals had to go into the season without a contract deal complete with Jamar. I think that around the locker room, from my vantage point, it seemed that there were guys within that locker room who were looking at the Bengals, looking at Jamar Chase and saying, you know, even before he was a Triple Crown winner, he was considered the best wide receiver in the league. And other players were looking around and looking at him and saying to themselves, if Jamar Chase can't get paid, if he can't make money, if he can't ink a new deal that satisfies him, what makes me think that they are going to ink me to a deal that satisfies me? Why would I put my body on the line? And so I've said this before. I think not only it's a bigger picture, guys. I think not only is Joe Burrow sending the message by going out into the media and essentially saying, I want to keep T. Higgins. I want to keep Jamar Chase. I want to keep Mike Gesicki. I want to keep Trey Hendrickson. He is going out there and he is letting this locker room know that if you are going to play your butt off and put your body on the line with the goal of winning an AFC North championship, winning the AFC North, winning the Super Bowl, if you are going to go out there and put your body on the line for me and my team, I will go to bat in the media for you and your contract and let them know who I deem valuable and who I think is important to achieving that goal. So I think he's kind of sending that message that, yeah, they might not have gotten a deal done, but this guy, this group of guys is extremely important to me. And so I will go to bat for them. So he's definitely sending the message that he will make sure that the right guys and the guys that he values and the guys that show that they can help him win, he will make sure that their name is brought up in the right conversations and at the right times. We are going to keep this train rolling. We did so many interviews. We have so much more for you coming up.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Deep in the Stripes with Elise Jesse on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.